Hello, and welcome to the first episode in our series of weekly exercises, where we will conduct a different Stoic exercise every week. This week's exercise will be based on a quote by Seneca. Man is affected not by events, but by the view he takes of them. Our perceptions of the world have a big influence in shaping our character. For this week, we want to not call anything external or things beyond our control as good or bad. The judgment good or bad should be only applied to things that concern our character. It might be helpful to write down all of the synonyms you know for the terms good and bad, so that way you know what words to avoid using when speaking with yourself or other people. Here are some examples when not to use the judgment good and bad. You are eating some food you don't like. Instead of saying, "This food is bad," you should say instead, "I do not like this food." When you are driving to work and you don't get stuck at any red lights, you should not say, "This is amazing." Instead, you should say, "I will not be late to work today." When talking about a movie you enjoy, don't say, "This is such a great movie." Instead, say, "I really enjoyed this movie." Here are a couple of examples of when it is appropriate to use the judgment good and bad. Someone says something you disagree with, and you get angry with them. It is the perfect time to say, "I have acted poorly." If you wake up early and do your exercises, it is the right time to say, "I am doing well." The purpose of this exercise is to help us remove the labels of good and bad from external things, so that our values and consequently goals will not come to depend on them. The language we use to describe the world around us affects the way we perceive it, and using labels such as awesome or terrible on things that aren't really awesome or terrible affects our reactions to those things. Our goal is to remove the labels of good and bad from externals and to only apply them to things which are in our control. That way, we will have full power to pursue what we deem good and avoid what we deem bad. I would like to end our exercise this week with a quote from Epictetus. "Does anyone bathe in a mighty little time? Don't say that he does it ill, but in a mighty little time. Does anyone drink a great quantity of wine? Don't say that he does ill, but that he drinks a great quantity. For unless you perfectly understand the principle from which anyone acts, how should you know if he acts ill? Thus you will not run the hazard of assenting to any appearances but such as you fully comprehend."